Fruits that boost circulation and intimacy for seniors. True intimacy begins with energy and flow. These fruits open the blood vessels, calm the heart, and awaken connection. Most people eat for taste, not purpose. But you're here to heal. The last fruit, it's passion in disguise. Stay to the end. Your heart and partner will feel it. Lifeblood's vital current, the very essence of our vibrant, dynamically animated human being. That subtle yet extraordinarily powerful, intelligent current which tirelessly, ceaselessly orchestrates the magnificent, intricate symphony of all our diverse, interconnected physiological functions, and which lovingly, faithfully infuses every single one of our trillions of cells with palpable life, pure intelligence, and innate purpose, often revered and referred to in the ancient, luminous, and deeply insightful wisdom traditions of the East as Qi, or vital life force energy, relies most profoundly, most fundamentally, and most inextricably upon the consistently unimpeded, completely harmonious, utterly joyful, and wonderfully vital flow of its inseparable, essential counterpart, its tangible material anchor, its primary nourishing vehicle within the physical realm, our precious, crimson, life-sustaining blood. This vital, sacred blood, our literal lifeblood, is by no means to be understood as merely a passive, inert, purely physical fluid, simply coursing mechanically through our intricate network of arteries, veins, and capillaries. It is, in its deepest, truest essence, a living, flowing river of profound significance. It diligently, faithfully, and ceaselessly carries not only essential life-sustaining warmth from our metabolic core, but also profound, multifaceted nourishment derived from the foods we consume, life-giving oxygen drawn in with every sacred breath, vital, regulatory hormones secreted by our endocrine glands, protective, vigilant immune factors that guard our well-being, and indeed, the very palpable, tangible, almost spiritual essence of our intrinsic, God-given vitality to every single, remote, and often overlooked corner of our magnificent, divinely crafted human being, from the very crown of our enlightened head to the tips of our earth-connecting toes. In the sacred, often deeply personal, exquisitely tender, and profoundly meaningful context of healthy, joyful human intimacy, particularly for our most cherished, deeply wise, and eminently deserving seniors, who are consciously, gracefully navigating the rich, multifaceted complexities and unique opportunities of their mature golden years, the overall inherent quality, its purity, its richness, its energetic vibrancy, the subtle yet crucial energetic signature, and most especially, the completely unimpeded, entirely harmonious, and consistently reliable circulation of this most precious, crimson lifeblood, take on a truly paramount, often undeniably pivotal, and deeply significant role in sustaining well-being and fostering connection. The innate, God-given human capacity for a genuinely healthy, wonderfully joyful, mutually respectful, and deeply spiritually fulfilling sexual response, a complex, integrated process encompassing for both men and women the natural, eager stages of physiological and psychological arousal, the healthy, timely development of adequate, comfortable physiological lubrication, the keen, pleasurable acuity of heightened tactile and emotional sensation, the specific ability for men to achieve and comfortably, confidently sustain healthy, firm erections suitable for satisfying intercourse, and the beautiful, shared potential for both loving partners to experience profound, releasing, and deeply bonding orgasmic states, is, it must be clearly understood, fundamentally, unequivocally, and inextricably dependent upon robust, dynamically responsive, entirely unobstructed, consistently reliable, and physiologically adequate blood flow to the entire pelvic region and to all the delicate, specialized, and highly sensitive generative organs that are so intricately, beautifully housed therein. As we consciously, mindfully, and gratefully journey through the ever-accumulating, progressively deepening, and uniquely insightful seasons of our precious human life, it is an entirely natural, wholly expected, and perfectly normal physiological modulation that the vast, intricate network of diverse blood vessels, those miraculous conduits which so diligently, so faithfully, and so tirelessly carry this vital, precious lifeblood throughout our entire intricate system, may gradually, subtly, yet often progressively, lose some small measure of their innate youthful elasticity, their inherent suppleness, and their dynamic resilience against various stresses. The powerful, steady, rhythmic, propulsive force generated by our incredibly hard-working, lifelong companion, our Sacred Heart, may also naturally, gracefully, and appropriately mellow somewhat with the steady, inexorable passage of time. Consequently, the overall vigor, the inherent dynamism, and the general efficiency of our systemic circulation might gently, almost perceptibly soften, often experiencing a subtle, entirely natural, and usually quite gradual ebb in what might have once been its more forceful, perhaps even boisterous, youthful surge. This, it must be clearly, unequivocally understood and gently, compassionately embraced, is not inherently in and of itself a state of overt, diagnosable disease or some form of inevitable, predetermined physiological pathology. Rather, it is, more accurately and more holistically, a normal, expected, characteristic feature of ongoing physiological maturation, a testament to a life long-lived, rich with experience, and deeply, fully felt. However, if this natural, gentle, age-associated ebbing of circulatory vigor, unfortunately for various complex reasons, becomes too significantly pronounced, if subtle yet persistent problematic impediments to healthy, optimal, life-affirming blood flow unfortunately begin to arise. Perhaps due to the cumulative, long-term effects of various unsupportive, detrimental lifestyle factors, such as chronic, unmanaged emotional stress, a predominantly sedentary lifestyle characterized by insufficient regular physical movement, or the damaging habit of smoking, perhaps due to long-standing unaddressed dietary imbalances, such as a consistent overconsumption of highly processed, nutrient-poor foods, or a significant chronic deficiency in certain key vasoprotective, circulation-enhancing nutrients. Or perhaps due to the subtle yet significant presence of underlying unresolved energetic weaknesses or functional insufficiencies within our vital organ systems, particularly the heart, liver, spleen, and kidney systems, as understood in traditional energetic medicine. The sacred, deeply cherished, intimate connection that brings such profound, immeasurable joy, deep, soul-stirring comfort, mutual, heartfelt solace, and essential, life-sustaining human bonding can, unfortunately, be subtly, yet often significantly, sometimes quite distressingly and negatively affected. Pleasurable, life-enhancing physical sensations associated with intimacy may, as a consequence, become noticeably less keen, perhaps less vibrant, potentially more diffuse, or perhaps even disappointingly dulled. The natural, spontaneous physiological process of healthy arousal may begin to feel somewhat less immediate, perhaps less predictably spontaneous, or maybe perceptibly less intense, less all-encompassing than it was in former, perhaps more physiologically robust years. Overall physical responsiveness during intimate encounters might then become somewhat less reliably robust, perhaps less easily or quickly elicited, or it may unfortunately require more direct, focused, or prolonged physical stimulation to achieve a satisfying, mutually fulfilling level of arousal. For our cherished, respected elder men, this subtle yet deeply significant underlying circulatory challenge might often, quite commonly, manifest symptomatically as discernibly less firm, less reliably sustained, or perhaps more frustratingly difficult to achieve erections, potentially leading to anxiety or a loss of confidence. For our equally cherished, deeply respected elder women, these circulatory changes might, unfortunately, often involve experiencing noticeably diminished levels of natural, healthy vaginal lubrication, which can then lead to significant discomfort, pain, or even avoidance of intercourse. Potentially reduced clitoral engorgement and heightened sensitivity during arousal, or perhaps a generally less intense, less easily attained or less fully satisfying capacity for achieving complete arousal and experiencing profound, fulfilling orgasm. These are, it must be acknowledged with deep compassion and understanding, often very quiet, deeply personal, highly sensitive, and sometimes shame-laden concerns. Concerns that can, if they remain unaddressed, misunderstood, or shrouded in silence, unfortunately cast an unwelcome, often deeply dimming shadow over the potentially rich, wonderfully fulfilling, and spiritually expansive golden years of life. This is a precious, sacred time in one's life journey when deep, authentic emotional connection, tender, respectful physical affection, and joyful, consensual, loving intimacy can be so extraordinarily profoundly enriching, genuinely life-affirming, deeply healing, and wonderfully spirit-sustaining. The ancient, profound, and remarkably insightful wisdom traditions of holistic healing, particularly those emanating from the East, such as traditional Chinese medicine and Ayurveda, with their deep, intuitive, nuanced, and often remarkably accurate understanding of the body's intricate, subtle energetic patterns and its complex, dynamic circulatory physiology, clearly, consistently, and unequivocally recognized that this natural, gentle, age-associated ebbing of overall circulatory vigor, this subtle yet discernible quieting of the once more boisterous, surging lifeblood, need not be passively, resignedly, or fatalistically accepted as an entirely inevitable, wholly unalterable, or utterly irreversible decline into a complete, sorrowful, and joyless absence of intimate vitality, sensual pleasure, and joyful physical expression. These wise ancient traditions consistently, powerfully understood that specific, carefully chosen, and often surprisingly common foods, particularly certain wonderfully vibrant, deliciously life-giving fruits, those magnificent botanical gems so generously imbued by Mother Nature with the sun's radiant, warming, generative energies, the earth's deep, grounding, nurturing sweetness, and a unique, potent, synergistic array of bioactive, health-promoting biochemical properties, could indeed gently, yet often powerfully, remarkably effectively encourage the precious, crimson lifeblood to once again flow more freely, more joyfully, more abundantly, and more purposefully throughout the entire magnificent system. These special sacred fruits, these gifts from nature's loving hand, could reliably help the blood to nourish all our diverse tissues more deeply, more completely, more effectively, and to gently, yet significantly, noticeably rekindle the essential, vital inner warmth, the crucial physiological responsiveness, and the overall energetic vibrancy that are so absolutely fundamentally essential for consistently maintaining a wonderfully fulfilling, genuinely joyful, mutually respectful, and deeply spiritually connecting intimate life well into the most advanced years. The primary, enlightened, and compassionate focus of such a completely natural, whole food-based, life-affirming approach is emphatically, unequivocally not on somehow forcefully, artificially, or unsustainably creating an unnatural, potentially harmful state of hyper-arousal, or on desperately, futilely attempting to somehow replicate or perfectly mimic the perhaps distinctly different, often more hormonally driven sexual energies and capacities of one's earlier, more youthful years. Rather, the wise, gentle, and holistic aim is always consistently and patiently to gently, intelligently, respectfully, and harmoniously remove any existing problematic internal obstructions, whether physical or energetic, to healthy, unimpeded circulatory flow, to consistently, diligently tonify, nourish, and support the underlying vital organ systems that traditionally, holistically govern healthy, robust circulation and overall constitutional vitality, such as the energetic and physiological functions of the heart, the liver, the spleen, and, most fundamentally and crucially, the kidneys, and to diligently, lovingly, and consistently provide the sacred physical body with the specific, crucial, essential nutrients, the vitalizing energetic signatures, and the overall supportive biochemical environment that actively, effectively, and sustainably support robust, resilient vascular health, optimal responsive endothelial function, the health and integrity of the delicate inner lining of all our intricate blood vessels, and overall lasting circulatory strength and resilience. By consciously, mindfully, and consistently understanding how to skillfully, respectfully, and lovingly work in perfect, synergistic, harmonious alignment with these wonderfully supportive, entirely natural, readily accessible, and often delightfully delicious botanical allies, we can effectively, compassionately, and sustainably help to ensure that the sacred, life-sustaining crimson river of our precious, irreplaceable lifeblood continues day after day, year after year, to gracefully, powerfully flow with a gentle yet entirely sufficient, consistently reliable, and joyfully vibrant strength, deeply, completely, and effectively nourishing all the intricate vital pathways of healthy, joyful, mutually fulfilling intimacy, and graciously, powerfully, and beautifully allowing the heart's deepest, most tender, most authentic connection to gracefully, fully, and vibrantly find its complete, unimpeded, and utterly joyful physical expression, thereby enriching all aspects of our precious human lives immeasurably, profoundly, and unforgettably. Pomegranate's potent pulse. Among nature's most visually arresting, symbolically profound, historically revered, and therapeutically potent botanical offerings for consistently, powerfully, and effectively supporting healthy, vibrant systemic circulation, while simultaneously, significantly, and noticeably enhancing our innate, God-given intimate vitality and capacity for joyful connection, the magnificent, ancient, and almost mythical pomegranate stands forth with unambiguous distinction as a truly regal, deeply emblematic, and powerfully life-affirming natural treasure. Its characteristically deep, luscious, almost blood-like ruby crimson hue, its remarkably tough, resilient, protective, leathery outer rind, which itself contains beneficial compounds, and its multitude of perfectly formed, glistening jewel-like seeds, botanically known as arils, each individual seed lovingly encased in a succulent, translucent, vibrantly colored sac, bursting forth with uniquely sweet tart, invigorating, and unmistakably life-giving juice, collectively powerfully evoke a profound, almost archetypal, primordial sense of ancient, generative creative power, enduring, abundant procreative fertility, and deeply, holistically restorative, life-sustaining vital essence. This truly remarkable, historically significant, and culturally celebrated fruit, deeply esteemed and highly valued across countless millennia and within a multitude of diverse, disparate global cultures, not only as a potent, enduring, and universally recognized symbol of procreative fertility, earthly abundance, sustained prosperity, and vibrant, flourishing life, but also, and just as importantly from a healing perspective, as a profound, complex, multifaceted, and highly effective medicinal food, generously, consistently offers our magnificent human bodies a truly remarkable, almost unparalleled, naturally occurring synergy of unique, highly beneficial, and harmoniously acting energetic properties, combined with an impressive array of potent, scientifically validated, health-promoting biochemical compounds. These combined synergistic attributes, both subtle and gross, specifically, directly, comprehensively, and effectively address the very same crucial, fundamental circulatory and underlying physiological needs that are so absolutely, undeniably paramount for our cherished, wise, and eminently deserving seniors who are earnestly, consciously, and diligently seeking to gracefully maintain, joyfully, successfully rekindle, or profoundly, meaningfully enhance their precious, life-affirming, intimate well-being, their capacity for deep, authentic, loving connection, and their overall sense of vibrant, embodied aliveness. From a traditional, holistic, and deeply insightful energetic perspective, as meticulously understood and articulated within venerable, time-tested healing systems such as traditional Ayurveda from India or the comprehensive framework of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, the magnificent pomegranate is often characteristically considered to possess an inherently, beneficially cooling yet simultaneously remarkably invigorating, powerfully blood-moving intrinsic thermal nature. Its characteristic, often quite pronounced, Refreshing tartness, primarily derived from the natural presence of various beneficial organic acids such as citric acid and malic acid, can effectively beneficially help to gently yet firmly astringe, appropriately consolidate, and effectively prevent the undesirable leakage or abnormal discharge of vital bodily fluids, a valuable therapeutic property for addressing certain conditions involving excessive sweating, diarrhea, or various types of abnormal genital discharges. Yet, somewhat paradoxically, and most beneficially, powerfully for our present specific consideration of enhancing circulation and intimacy, it also simultaneously possesses an undeniable, remarkable, and truly potent intrinsic ability to actively, effectively, and often quite noticeably move the blood, to gently yet firmly, effectively break up and resolve conditions of blood stagnation, which in TCM refers to congealed, non-flowing or poorly circulating blood that can lead to pain, masses, or impaired function, and to skillfully, efficiently dispel accumulations of what traditional energetic systems often term pathogenic heat in the blood, a condition frequently associated with various forms of inflammation, skin eruptions, and significantly impaired, sluggish, or turbulent circulatory function. These are precisely the kinds of detrimental energetic and physiological conditions that can significantly negatively impede healthy, robust, responsive peripheral circulation and detrimentally, pervasively contribute to the unfortunate development or significant exacerbation of chronic systemic inflammation throughout the body. This unique, sophisticated, and remarkably beneficial dual capacity of the pomegranate, its ability to both beneficially appropriately consolidate vital essences where and when needed, and yet simultaneously powerfully move, invigorate, and purify the blood where stagnation or pathogenic heat exists, makes it an exceptionally uniquely valuable and highly versatile natural ally for achieving and maintaining profound, holistic health and well-being. Its inherent, gentle, yet effective cooling quality can be particularly profoundly beneficial in effectively, systemically counteracting the pervasive, often insidious, problematic, low-grade systemic inflammation that so frequently, unfortunately, and often silently underlies much common age-related vascular dysfunction, a very common, significant, and often deeply impactful health concern for many cherished aging individuals. When our delicate, intricate, and absolutely vital blood vessels become chronically, persistently inflamed, their inherent, God-given elasticity, their crucial, necessary responsiveness to normal, everyday physiological signals, such as those calling for vasodilation or vasoconstriction, and their fundamental, essential ability to appropriately, efficiently dilate, widen, and constrict, narrow, as physiologically required for maintaining optimal blood flow and blood pressure, are often significantly, detrimentally, and progressively compromised. The magnificent, rich, deep red, almost luminous ruby-like color of the pomegranate fruit itself and of its vibrant, life-giving juice, in the deeply insightful, often poetic symbolic language of many diverse traditional healing systems from around the world, powerfully, unequivocally, and beautifully signifies its strong, direct, almost sacred energetic affinity for and profound connection with the blood itself, clearly, unmistakably indicating its inherent, potent, divinely bestowed capacity to deeply, fundamentally nourish, effectively, thoroughly purify, dynamically, holistically invigorate, and comprehensively, systemically strengthen this most vital, precious, crimson, life-sustaining fluid that courses through our very veins. By actively, consistently, and powerfully promoting the development and maintenance of a significantly healthier, more optimally fluid, demonstrably less viscous, less thick or sticky, and energetically more vibrant quality of circulating blood, and by simultaneously, effectively helping to gently yet thoroughly clear and resolve any problematic, flow-impeding pathogenic heat, or any undesirable circulation-dampening energetic turbidity that might otherwise unfortunately render the blood undesirably sluggish, problematically sticky, inefficiently oxygenated, or generally difficult for the heart to effectively circulate, the magnificent pomegranate powerfully, broadly and beneficially encourages a significantly more vibrant, completely unimpeded, joyfully healthy, and life-enhancing flow of this precious, vital life fluid to all the diverse, interconnected parts of our magnificent human body. This improved circulation includes, most importantly and pertinently for our current specific discussion on intimacy, a significantly enhanced, more responsive, and more reliable blood flow to the highly sensitive, incredibly intricate, and absolutely vital delicate vascular networks of the entire pelvic region, which directly, faithfully, and generously supply all our essential sacred generative organs with the oxygen, nutrients, and vital energy they require for healthy, joyful function. Modern, rigorous, and often cutting-edge scientific research has now, quite impressively, overwhelmingly, and beautifully corroborated, validated, and indeed, in many ways, greatly expanded upon these ancient, intuitive, and often poetically expressed insights regarding the pomegranate's profound, multifaceted, and wide-ranging health benefits. Pomegranates are now unequivocally, scientifically confirmed to be exceptionally, extraordinarily rich in a remarkably diverse, complex, and highly beneficial array of remarkably potent antioxidant compounds. Most notably and significantly among these are a unique group of large, complex polyphenolic compounds known as punicalagins, which are found almost exclusively in pomegranates and are credited with being responsible for a very large proportion, often more than half, of the fruit's total potent antioxidant capacity. Pomegranates also contain a wealth of other brightly colored, highly protective flavonoid compounds known as anthocyanins, which contribute significantly to their characteristic, beautiful, rich red hue and also possess their own significant antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties. These naturally occurring, powerfully protective plant-derived compounds are now widely, scientifically recognized and highly acclaimed as exceptionally powerful, remarkably diligent, and consistently effective protectors of our entire, intricate cardiovascular system, from the largest arteries down to the smallest, most delicate capillaries. They actively, effectively, consistently, and comprehensively combat damaging, insidious oxidative stress, the pervasive cellular and tissue damage caused by an overabundance of unstable, highly reactive, free radical molecules. A process which is now clearly understood to be a primary, fundamental, insidious driver of endothelial dysfunction, progressive damage and impaired function of the delicate, vital inner lining of all our blood vessels, and of atherosclerosis, the dangerous progressive hardening, narrowing, and loss of elasticity of our arteries due to plaque buildup. The consistently healthy, fully functional and intact endothelium, the single layer of cells lining our blood vessels, is absolutely, critically responsible for producing a vital, gaseous signaling molecule called nitric oxide, NO. Nitric oxide, as we are increasingly coming to understand its pivotal importance, is the key, indispensable, fundamental biochemical messenger that effectively, precisely signals the smooth muscle cells within our arterial walls throughout our entire body to gently, appropriately relax, thereby allowing our blood vessels to appropriately, healthily dilate, widen. This essential vasodilation, in turn, directly, critically allows for a significantly increased, more robust, healthier, more responsive, and more adaptable flow of vital oxygenated blood through them to all our tissues and organs as physiologically required. Consistently healthy, fully functional, and highly responsive endothelial cells and an abundant, readily available, physiologically adequate supply of crucial nitric oxide production are therefore absolutely, unequivocally, and undeniably critical, indeed foundational, for successfully achieving and comfortably maintaining healthy, firm, reliable erectile function in men, They are also equally vitally important for efficiently facilitating adequate, responsive, and pleasurable engorgement and blood flow to the highly sensitive clitoral and surrounding vaginal tissues in women, thereby significantly, directly contributing to enhanced, joyful arousal, the development of sufficient, comfortable, natural lubrication, heightened, pleasurable tactile sensation, and an overall more fulfilling, easily attainable, orgasmic capacity. Numerous well-conducted, often rigorously designed, and frequently peer-reviewed human and animal scientific studies have now convincingly, impressively, and repeatedly demonstrated that the regular, consistent consumption of either fresh pomegranate fruit, the arils or seeds, or its pure, unsweetened, high-quality juice can lead to significant, measurable, and clinically relevant improvements in various important parameters of overall blood flow and cardiovascular health. These benefits include demonstrably helping to reduce the dangerous, progressive accumulation of problematic arterial plaque, thereby actively, beneficially combating the insidious progression of atherosclerosis, significantly contributing to the maintenance of healthier, more optimal blood pressure levels, with pomegranate often showing a gentle, natural, mildly hypotensive or blood pressure lowering effect, particularly in individuals with pre-existing hypertension, and even remarkably, demonstrably enhancing physical exercise performance and endurance by significantly improving efficient oxygen delivery to hard-working muscles, all of which are crucial factors that directly, powerfully, and synergistically contribute to achieving, promoting, and consistently maintaining significantly better, more robust, more resilient overall circulatory health, and consequently markedly enhanced, more reliable, more enjoyable intimate responsiveness, pleasure, and profound connection. The magnificent, life-affirming crimson tide of deep essential nourishment, potent, comprehensive cellular protection, and vibrant, joyfully flowing vitality so generously, abundantly, and lovingly offered to us by the sacred, ancient pomegranate can, therefore powerfully, significantly, meaningfully, and wonderfully benefit our cherished, deserving seniors. It does so by diligently, effectively protecting their precious, essential vascular integrity from ongoing, age-related, and lifestyle-induced damage, by effectively, systemically, and significantly reducing the burden of harmful, pervasive chronic inflammation throughout their bodies, by actively, beneficially, and consistently supporting the crucial, delicate nitric oxide pathways that are so absolutely essential for healthy, responsive vasodilation, and by consistently, reliably promoting a significantly more vigorous, completely unimpeded, wonderfully life-enhancing circulation of pure, healthy, vital, oxygen-rich blood to the very same sacred organs and delicate tissues that so beautifully, gracefully, joyfully, and profoundly enable deeply fulfilling, authentically loving, and mutually respectful physical intimacy, mindfully, consciously, and appreciatively incorporating this ancient, sacred, and powerfully healing fruit, whether it is delightfully consumed as fresh, succulent, jewel-like seeds, arils, bursting with vibrant, flavorful juice, or whether it is more conveniently enjoyed as pure, unsweetened, high-quality pomegranate juice, always, of course, consumed in sensible, mindful moderation, particularly if monitoring overall sugar intake. Into one's regular daily or at least frequent weekly dietary rhythm is truly a wonderfully delicious, profoundly empowering, deeply life-affirming, and remarkably effective natural way to graciously, lovingly, and intentionally invite this potent, health-enhancing, circulation-boosting current of vibrant, flowing energy and profound, holistic well-being into one's entire sacred being, thereby powerfully, joyfully fostering both essential physical health and the sublime, irreplaceable joy of deep, authentic human connection well into the most cherished golden years of life. Watermelon's Gentle Search. The universally beloved, wonderfully refreshing, and iconically summery watermelon that magnificent sprawling vine fruit which so perfectly, joyfully embodies summer's warmth, its playful leisure, and its sun-drenched, carefree abundance, serving as nature's own most perfect, entirely natural, and utterly delicious thirst quencher, generously, remarkably offers our fortunate human bodies far, far more profound health benefits than just a delightfully cooling, exceptionally hydrating, and wonderfully satisfying means to find welcome, soothing relief from the pervasive heat on a warm, languid, sun-filled day. For hidden deep within its remarkably juicy, often brilliantly, beautifully colored, ranging from the palest, most delicate pink, or even a surprising sunny yellow, to the most intense, rich, deep ruby red depending on the specific variety, and wonderfully naturally sweet, exceptionally succulent flesh, there lies a truly surprising, often significantly underappreciated, yet now increasingly scientifically validated and well-documented potency for significantly, beneficially, and often quite noticeably enhancing healthy systemic circulation and actively, meaningfully supporting vibrant, joyful, intimate health and function. These particular benefits are especially relevant, highly valuable, and particularly well-suited for our cherished, wise, and deserving seniors, primarily due to watermelon's unique, naturally occurring, wonderfully synergistic, and often highly bioavailable composition of specific, powerful, health-promoting phytonutrients, plant-derived compounds that are known to directly, positively, and often quite powerfully influence several crucial fundamental aspects of healthy, responsive vascular function and overall cardiovascular well-being. Its very intrinsic, defining nature being overwhelmingly, predominantly composed of pure, highly structured, easily assimilated water, often impressively exceeding a remarkable 90% to 92% of its total weight, depending on the variety and ripeness, powerfully, eloquently, and undeniably speaks to its inherent, remarkable, divinely bestowed capacity to effectively, systemically promote profound, essential bodily fluidity, to gently yet thoroughly, deeply hydrate all our diverse bodily tissues from the inside out, and to actively, beneficially help maintain clear, open, unobstructed energetic and physiological pathways throughout our entire intricate, interconnected human organism. All of these fundamental physiological aspects, optimal hydration, good tissue fluidity, and clear, open pathways, are absolutely, unequivocally essential for consistently ensuring healthy, responsive, entirely unimpeded, and optimally efficient blood flow, which is, as we know, the very lifeblood, the crimson river of all our vitality, our energy, our health, and indeed our capacity for joyful, fulfilling intimacy. Energetically, from the holistic, insightful, and nature-attuned perspective of traditional Chinese medicine, TCM, and various other ancient, venerable healing traditions from around the world, fresh, ripe watermelon is generally, characteristically considered to be quite distinctly, even often powerfully, cooling. Some ancient texts even classify it as possessing a cold, intrinsic thermal nature, making it particularly well-suited for balancing conditions of excess heat. It is also, of course, as its name so clearly implies, profoundly, deeply, and wonderfully hydrating to the entire system. This unique energetic combination makes watermelon an exceptionally excellent, entirely natural, and wonderfully delicious choice for effectively, safely clearing what traditional energetic systems often term pathogenic summer heat, a specific type of pathogenic external influence associated with excessively hot, humid weather conditions that can unfortunately lead to symptoms such as significant overheating of the body, problematic dehydration, increased irritability, mental restlessness, and even heat stroke in severe cases. Watermelon is also highly beneficial for effectively counteracting and gently quelling any underlying problematic chronic internal heat patterns that may unfortunately be present within the body, conditions that might otherwise insidiously contribute to systemic dryness, affecting skin, mucous membranes, and joints, chronic low-grade systemic inflammation, a root cause of many diseases, increased undesirable blood viscosity, making the blood thicker and harder to pump, or generally sluggish, significantly impaired, and poorly responsive peripheral circulation. This pronounced inherent cooling and deeply thoroughly moisturizing effect so generously offered by fresh watermelon consumption can be particularly, specifically, and wonderfully beneficial for consistently maintaining the essential health, the necessary suppleness, the crucial hydration, and the optimal responsiveness of all the delicate, sensitive mucous membranes that meticulously line various important parts of our magnificent human body, including, most pertinently for our current discussion, those highly specialized mucous membranes that are intrinsically directly involved in healthy, comfortable sexual arousal, the production of adequate, natural physiological lubrication, so essential for comfortable, pleasurable intercourse, and the overall health and sensitivity of our entire genital region. These vital mucous membranes, unfortunately, can sometimes tend to become noticeably somewhat drier, unfortunately more fragile, perhaps less resilient, or even significantly less responsive with the natural unavoidable progression of age, particularly for instance in postmenopausal women due to hormonal shifts, or in individuals suffering from certain autoimmune conditions like Sjogren's syndrome, by effectively, gently, yet powerfully clearing potentially disruptive, health-compromising internal heat patterns from the system, by significantly, beneficially promoting optimal, healthy systemic fluid balance and cellular hydration throughout the entire body, and by deeply, thoroughly hydrating all our diverse tissues from the very inside out. Delicious, refreshing fresh watermelon powerfully, consistently helps to create and maintain a significantly more supple, noticeably more resilient, wonderfully more comfortable, and ultimately far more physiologically responsive internal environment throughout the entirety of our magnificent human organism, including, most importantly, within the crucial, sensitive, and highly vascularized pelvic region. The rich, deep red or wonderfully vibrant pink color that is so characteristic of many common popular watermelon varieties is, in itself, a clear, unmistakable, visible external indication of their significant, valuable richness in a particularly potent, well-researched carotenoid antioxidant compound called lycopene. Lycopene is the very same highly beneficial protective plant pigment also found so abundantly in ripe, red tomatoes and other red-hued fruits and vegetables. But it is often, interestingly, found to be even more readily, efficiently bioavailable, meaning easier for our bodies to effectively absorb and actually utilize when sourced from fresh, ripe watermelon as compared to some other common dietary sources. Lycopene, much like many other powerful, broadly acting, naturally occurring antioxidant compounds, plays an absolutely crucial, well-established role in diligently, effectively helping to protect our delicate, intricate, and absolutely vital blood vessels from the ongoing, cumulative, and often insidious ravages of progressive oxidative damage, that cellular and tissue damage so relentlessly, pervasively caused by an overabundance of unstable, highly reactive, and potentially harmful free radical molecules within our system. This consistent, powerful antioxidant protection afforded by lycopene and other synergistic compounds in watermelon is absolutely vital, indeed indispensable, for effectively preserving the inherent, God-given elasticity, the essential dynamic flexibility, and the overall optimal functional responsiveness of our entire vast, intricate vascular network throughout our entire body. However, it must be said that the true, undisputed, and perhaps most exciting circulatory superstar nutrient that is so uniquely, remarkably, and generously found within the very substance of fresh, ripe watermelon is a specific, naturally occurring, non-essential, meaning our bodies can produce some, but dietary intake is beneficial, amino acid that is technically known as L-citrulline. Watermelon is, in fact, now scientifically recognized as being one of the very richest, most concentrated, and most readily accessible known natural dietary sources of this remarkable amino acid, L-citrulline. L-citrulline is found in particularly impressively high, potentially therapeutic concentrations, especially, and perhaps surprisingly to many, within the often discarded pale white part of the watermelon rind, that portion of the fruit found just beneath the tough outer green skin and directly adjacent to the sweet-colored flesh, though the delicious sweet-colored flesh itself also thankfully contains quite significant, highly beneficial amounts of this valuable compound, so enjoying the flesh is still very worthwhile. Once this naturally occurring L-citrulline is consumed from watermelon and subsequently absorbed into our bloodstream via our digestive system, it is then very efficiently, very effectively converted within our magnificent human bodies. Primarily, it is believed, through enzymatic processes occurring within our hard-working kidneys, into another absolutely crucial, well-known amino acid called L-arginine. L-arginine, in turn, serves within our physiology as the direct, essential, and absolutely indispensable precursor, the fundamental raw material that our bodies unequivocally absolutely require to endogenously, naturally synthesize the vital gaseous signaling molecule known as nitric oxide, NO, that pivotal, critically important, and multifaceted biochemical messenger whose profound importance for cardiovascular health and sexual function we have previously extensively discussed in our contemplation of the pomegranate. Nitric oxide, NO, as we are increasingly coming to understand its paramount significance, plays an absolutely critical, irreplaceable, and fundamental role in effectively, precisely causing the specialized smooth muscle cells that are found within our arterial walls throughout our entire cardiovascular system to gently, appropriately, and responsively relax. This essential muscular relaxation, in turn, directly physiologically leads to beneficial health-promoting vasodilation, the healthy, responsive, and often necessary widening or expansion of our myriad blood vessels. This crucial physiological process of vasodilation is, in fact, the fundamental underlying physiological mechanism that directly, powerfully allows for a significantly increased, more robust, more adaptable, and more sustained healthy influx of vital, oxygenated, nutrient-rich blood into various diverse tissues and organs throughout our entire body, precisely as and when it is physiologically required to meet metabolic demands or support specific functions. This process is absolutely, fundamentally essential for successfully achieving and comfortably, reliably maintaining healthy, firm, functional erections in men, as it is this very vasodilation that directly, critically facilitates the necessary, rapid engorgement of the specialized erectile tissues located within the penis with an adequate volume of blood. It is also equally, critically important for effectively, efficiently facilitating healthy, adequate, and responsive blood flow to the highly sensitive, richly innervated clitoral and surrounding vaginal tissues in women, thereby significantly, directly, and powerfully contributing to enhanced, joyful physiological arousal, the natural, healthy production of sufficient, comfortable physiological lubrication, so essential for pleasurable, pain-free intercourse, heightened, pleasurable tactile and emotional sensation, and an overall more fulfilling, more easily attainable, and more deeply satisfying orgasmic capacity. By generously, consistently, and deliciously providing our fortunate human bodies with a rich, entirely natural, wonderfully safe, and highly bioavailable dietary source of beneficial L-citrulline through the regular, joyful consumption of fresh, ripe watermelon, we thereby effectively, significantly, and often quite noticeably boost our body's internal, readily available pool of essential L-arginine. This, in turn, substantially beneficially enhances our body's innate, natural, God-given capacity to efficiently, effectively, and appropriately produce vital, health-promoting nitric oxide, NO, precisely as and when it is physiologically required throughout our system. This enhanced nitric oxide production can then translate directly, tangibly, and often quite demonstrably into significantly improved, more responsive, more adaptable, and more robust blood flow throughout the entire intricate cardiovascular system, including, most pertinently and importantly for our current specific discussion on promoting healthy intimacy, to the absolutely crucial, highly responsive genital regions in both men and women. This significantly enhanced, more reliable pelvic circulation can then, quite plausibly and often observably, result in demonstrably firmer, more reliably sustained, and more easily achievable erections for our cherished elder men, and in noticeably increased overall sensitivity, more abundant, healthier natural lubrication, and significantly heightened overall physiological responsiveness and orgasmic potential for our equally cherished, deeply respected elder women. The inherently high, beneficial water content and profoundly, wonderfully hydrating nature of delicious fresh watermelon also actively, synergistically, and beneficially contribute to consistently maintaining healthier, more optimal blood volume within our circulatory system and to promoting ideal, healthy blood viscosity, effectively helping to prevent our precious blood from unfortunately becoming too thick, overly viscous, or undesirably sticky, which would make it significantly harder for our heart to efficiently pump and could increase the risk of clot formation. These combined effects thereby further effectively, beautifully, and synergistically support good, healthy, unimpeded systemic circulation throughout our entire being. It is also very interesting and clinically relevant to note that unlike taking direct, often synthetically produced, isolated supplements of the amino acid L-arginine itself, which unfortunately can sometimes, in certain sensitive individuals or at higher doses, cause unwelcome digestive upset, such as uncomfortable bloating, cramping, or even diarrhea, or which, due to extensive metabolism in the gut and liver, may be relatively rapidly metabolized and effectively cleared by the liver before significant amounts can actually reach the systemic circulation and target tissues. A well-known pharmacological phenomenon often referred to as the first-pass effect, which can greatly reduce bioavailability. The L-citrulline that is naturally perfectly obtained from consuming fresh, whole watermelon is generally typically absorbed much more efficiently, far more comfortably, and often more completely by our intricate digestive system. Furthermore, L-citrulline ingestion tends to provide a more significantly sustained, more gradual, and potentially more physiologically balanced release of L-arginine into our bloodstream over a more extended period of time. This often results in potentially more consistent, more reliable, and perhaps longer-lasting overall benefits for endogenous nitric oxide production and subsequent vascular health and responsiveness compared to direct L-arginine supplementation. Therefore, regularly, joyfully, and gratefully incorporating generous, refreshing servings of fresh, ripe, delicious watermelon into one's daily or at least frequent weekly dietary regimen, especially and most appropriately when this magnificent fruit is naturally, abundantly, and locally in season, and therefore at its absolute peak of wonderful flavor, succulent texture, and optimal nutritional value, can be an exceptionally delicious, wonderfully refreshing, truly enjoyable, entirely natural, and remarkably effective proactive way for our cherished, deserving seniors to actively, consistently, and powerfully support their crucial, delicate nitric oxide pathways. This simple dietary pleasure can also significantly, beneficially promote healthy, strong, resilient, and wonderfully responsive overall vascular function throughout their entire system, and powerfully, joyfully encourage the kind of wonderfully aqueous, beautifully life-affirming, completely unimpeded, and holistically vitalizing circulatory flow that so beautifully, profoundly, and essentially underpins vibrant, joyful, mutually fulfilling, and deeply connecting intimate well-being well into their most precious, celebrated, and golden years. All this while simultaneously, generously, and delightfully enjoying fresh watermelon's inherently, wonderfully cooling, profoundly, deeply hydrating, richly satisfying, naturally sweet, and remarkably antioxidant-rich array of comprehensive health benefits, making it truly, unequivocally, a magnificent, divinely bestowed gift of the warm, joyful summer season. perfectly designed by nature for promoting and sustaining our essential vitality, our deep human connection, and our overall joyful engagement with life. The sacred, often deeply contemplative and uniquely personal journey of our richly seasoned golden elder years is one where the enduring, profound sweetness of authentic human connection, the comforting, life-affirming warmth of genuine intimacy, and the deep, soul-nourishing solace of mutual love and respect can, and indeed should, become an ever more cherished, deeply valued, consciously cultivated, and wonderfully nourishing aspect of our entire lives. Mother Nature, in her infinite, boundless wisdom, her unwavering, unconditional generosity, and her profound, eternal benevolence, continuously, lovingly provides us with an extraordinary, vibrant abundance of truly beautiful, wonderfully diverse, profoundly life-affirming, and deliciously health-promoting fruits. These include, among many others, the ancient, symbolically potent crimson red pomegranate, with its remarkable capacity to invigorate and purify our lifeblood. The wonderfully refreshing, deeply hydrating, L-citrulline-rich watermelon, so adept at promoting healthy, responsive vasodilation through enhanced nitric oxide production. The diverse, jewel-toned array of powerfully antioxidant and anti-inflammatory berries, those diligent purifiers of our intricate circulatory pathways. The brightly uplifting, vitamin C-packed, and wonderfully qi-moving family of citrus fruits, which awaken our senses and strengthen our vital vessel walls, and the deeply, fundamentally nourishing, resveratrol-rich, dark-hued grapes, those ancient nurturers of our precious cardiovascular health and overall systemic vitality. Each of these magnificent botanical treasures, and indeed many others not specifically detailed here, generously, lovingly, carries within its very essence unique, potent, and wonderfully synergistic energetic signatures, along with a complex, sophisticated array of powerful, health-promoting biochemical gifts, all meticulously, divinely designed by nature to effectively, consistently, and joyfully support the healthy, unimpeded, and vibrant circulation of our vital, crimson lifeblood throughout our entire magnificent human organism. By consciously, mindfully, gratefully, and joyfully welcoming these remarkably potent, utterly delicious, and life-sustaining treasures from nature's loving hand into our regular daily, or at least frequent weekly dietary rhythm, we do far, far more than simply passively enjoy their wonderfully diverse, appealing flavors and textures, or benefit from their general nutritional content. We actively, consciously, and powerfully participate in gently yet profoundly rekindling our precious body's own innate, God-given capacity for experiencing joyful, heightened sensation, for manifesting healthy, responsive physiological vitality, and for engaging in the profound, sacred, heartfelt, and mutually enriching union that so beautifully, deeply nourishes and sustains the human spirit. May you consistently, joyfully find in these wonderfully succulent, life-affirming natural offerings not just mere physical sustenance for your precious body, but also, and just as importantly, a renewed, invigorating sense of profound hope, genuine empowerment, unwavering confidence, and a significantly deeper, more intimate, and more loving connection to the vibrant, ceaselessly flowing, sacred river of life that courses eternally, magnificently, and joyfully within you. May this understanding allow the precious sacred bonds of authentic love, deep connection, and mutually respectful, joyful intimacy to continue to gracefully, beautifully, and abundantly flourish within your life, imbuing your journey with profound comfort, unwavering strength, serene delight, and enduring heartfelt peace throughout all your most cherished, golden, and celebrated years.